Hello, welcome to the Phina Show. As usual, my name remains Phina Brooks. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to a very, very special guest. And she is a career development specialist, especially for foreign educated professionals. Please help me welcome the one, the only, Dr. Charlotte Nga'Ang'a to the Phina Show. Welcome to the Phina Show.
Thank you so much, Phina. I'm so excited to be here today.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to tell us and give us tips on how to land the perfect job in Canada, especially for immigrants.
Wow, I can't wait to pour all the knowledge that I have today.
Good,
Yes.
good. We can't wait. But before then, we would like to know more about you. So please take your time and tell us who you are, what exactly you do. And you're from Kenya, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we want to know a lot more about you. So please introduce yourself properly and give us all the tips about you as well.
Thank you so much. My name is Charlotte Anyango Nga'Ang'a, and I am here from Kenya. I came to Canada in the year 2018 in the dead of winter, and I am a career development specialist. I've been doing this for so many years. My background, however, is linguistics. So I have a PhD in linguistics and so many years working as a university professor in Kenya. When I came to Canada, I had to switch from being in the classroom as a linguistics instructor to being a career development specialist. So I'm going to share with you a lot of tips on how you can maneuver when it comes to getting your career established in this beautiful country.
That's beautiful, and I'm so excited because lots of us come in here to Canada and we don't know where to start, how to navigate getting the right job, especially for the profession we've studied back home. Based on all of this and your specialty, what do you think is the first thing one should do once they get to Canada in order to land the perfect job for the profession they studied?
So Phina, what I would say is if you're coming in as an internationally educated immigrant professional, it's very important for you to meet with a career development specialist to strategize on your journey, your career journey in Canada. So you want to start by visiting the so many immigrant serving agencies in the city that help you establish your resume and your cover letter and give you some tips on interview skills. So that is the first thing I would ask somebody coming in. Go locate a place where your resume can be fixed, get some tips for your cover letter and interview.
When we come back, Dr. Charlotte is going to tell us the difference between a CV and a resume. So don't go anywhere. There's a lot more to learn. We'll be right back.
When are we going to stop singing about Africa?
Hi there, we're back today with the career development specialist, Dr. Charlotte Nga'Ang'a, and she's here to give us tips and knowledge on how to land the perfect profession in Canada as immigrants. Doctor, what is the difference between a resume and a CV? Because most of us, including myself, do not know the difference. Can you tell us what the difference is between a resume and a CV?
Thank you for asking that question because in my profession, I've noticed so many immigrants are using resume and CV interchangeably to mean the same document. I would like to clarify today that in Canada, we use those documents differently. So a CV is the document you want to use for jobs in academia and research and some government jobs. A CV is longer than what a resume is. And on your CV, you want to give more details than you would on a resume. So that's where you want to bring in your awards and grants and your publications and the books you've written, the conferences you've attended. And the people who ask for CVs actually have the time to flip page after page after page. Now, let's talk about the resumes. With resumes, it is short. The people who ask for resumes do not have the time to be flipping pages. So you want your resume to be as short as 2 pages maximum. And you want to bring in a snapshot of everything. You know, you want to have your education in there and your experiences and some of the skills that you have. You know, the point is make it brief, make it targeted.
What would you say is a good way to design your resume?
So that's a good question, Phina. I mentioned the phrase targeted resume specifically to take care of the fact that you want to look at the job posting when you're designing your resume, because you want to look at the keywords that have been used on the job posting. You want to also just look at the skills that they are specifically looking for from you, because you want to put that on your resume. One big tip I would give everyone is the fact that you want to make sure that you design a resume that, number one, is targeted, number two, is ATS friendly. So ATS is what we call the automated tracking system that most recruiters use here in Canada to kind of sift through your resume to make sure that they are taking out the best candidates. So you want to make sure that you take care of some of those things when you're building your resume. And most importantly is how you organize information in this document. Are you putting in important stuff, or are you putting in irrelevant things that could be very old, like very old experience that they might not be interested in? So you want to make sure you're bringing in those fresh experiences into your document.
We're learning a lot, guys, right? We want to know more. Please do not go anywhere. We have Dr. Charlotte Ong'ang'a here giving us tips on how to land the perfect job for your profession. So stay right there.
When are we gonna stop singing about Africa?
Hi there, we're back. Today we are chatting with a career development specialist, Dr. Charlotte Nga'Ang'a. She's been giving us tips on how to land the perfect job for our career in Canada, especially for immigrants. We have more questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Dr. Charlotte, I have this question now. I believe a lot of us will be interested in this question. Why is it so important to accompany your resume with a cover letter?
So cover letters is what will set you apart from an average applicant. Personally, I have a habit of having my cover letter on basically everything. When I'm applying for visas, when I'm sending letters to the taxman, I always have this cover letter that just kind of gives them a warning that, hey, we are dealing with somebody different. So a cover letter is your opportunity for you to have a heart-to-heart with a recruiter. So you want to have that letter there explaining things that you may not be able to explain on a resume. For example, if you have some gaps in your career, some of us came to Canada and took like a break, a stay-at-home mom, you kind of want to explain that you will see this gap, it's because I was going through something, or I was a stay-at-home mom, or whatever it is. But something that I need to tell everyone today is the fact that a cover letter is all about the company, while the resume is all about you. So as you write this cover letter, remember to bring in something about the company and why you want to work for them. It's like telling them your motivation to work for them. People get hired because they have the motivation to work for the company. So always have that cover letter. And the other thing about cover letters that I'll mention is always try to get a name for your cover letter. So when you're writing that letter, you're not writing it to a position. Most people just say, dear hiring manager. Hiring manager is a position. It's an office, an empty seat. So if you can do some homework and find the name of that hiring manager, it will now change the letter from an average letter to a heart-to-heart with that person.
Because you just personalized it.
Flatter
I think
someone.
it's flattering to do that when you put their names.
Yeah.
It makes them feel, oh, they actually wrote this letter to me.
Yes, and they actually treat you differently from people who would write hiring manager. Yeah.
It's just like when someone is on the phone talking to someone else, if you're smiling, they actually can feel it.
They can feel it.
Yeah, they can feel your smile.
Yeah.
If your voice sounds friendlier.
And they feel the energy. Yeah. Just one more thing. Most people always ask, how do I find a name if it's not on the job posting? I always say, pick your phone and call the organization and say, hey, I'm applying for this job and I need a name for my cover letter. If you can't find that name anywhere else, then your phone is your way out. But find a name and put it on your letter. Yeah,
that's a great tip. That's it, because I've seen some cover letters that says, dear sir, or dear sir/ma'am.
Madam.
Like, it could be a man, it could be a woman. So it's like, okay. Yeah, especially now that you don't know the genders of people. So dear they, their, her, their, he, or them, or whatever. So then it becomes really clumsy. So that's a very, very good tip. Thank you so much, Dr. Charlotte. Now you're looking for a job. What are the other tips you can give once you've gotten the call back and they want to give you an interview.
So congratulations if you get that beautiful phone call for an interview. Normally, in most cases, they start with screening interviews, and in most cases, it's normally a phone call. You want to probably do some of the things that you mentioned, like sitting upright, and I would also say dress up appropriately and be in a quiet space. One time, I actually lost an opportunity because my kids were crying in the background.
Oh, wow.
And there was a time I found myself in the mall during, the time when I had to be on a phone interview. So you want to treat this with a lot of respect. Now, something about interviews is they're a screening process. The intention of the recruiter is to screen you out. That's the irony. So don't give them any sort of excuse to screen you out. Now, that is for phone interviews that are for screening. The other thing about interviews I would say is prepare appropriately. Due to COVID, we have a lot of interviews taking place on Teams and Zoom. So you want to make sure that you click the link that they give you in advance, because you don't want to discover the link is broken during the interview. They'll treat that as being late for your interview. So try those things early and make sure that you set your camera properly. I've seen desperate scenarios where somebody's camera is down, so what you see is their neck and their chin when they're talking on the interview. Now, those are reasons to be screened out. The other thing I would say is make sure you prepare well for answering these questions. Eye contact always goes a long way. You also want to just have some idea about who you are. They might ask you about your weaknesses and your strengths. They may also ask for some stories. They love stories. So they ask behavioral questions, like tell me about a time when you experienced an emergency at work, So you want to bring in some stories in your interview. And these stories, you can actually pick them from your past experiences, from volunteering experiences, or even from class if you're a student.
Wow, those are good tips. And then I do have one tip to add to that one. I have seen where people are on Zoom and their camera is not set properly. It's kind of off. And then the place is dark. You can barely see their faces. So try and go to a place that, even if you don't need to have lighting, go to a place where you're facing the window, and at least you can get the natural light coming in, so you can at least be illuminated. Right, Doctor?
That's a big tip. Be in a well-lit space, because otherwise you'd be giving reasons to be screened out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was looking forward to this interview today because I know Dr. Charlotte is so experienced and she has a lot of knowledge in these matters of landing in the right profession for you, especially when you're an immigrant and you just came to Canada. Or you've been here and you're looking for the right, perfect profession to go into, or if you're changing careers or you're in a career you want to move up more, these are the tips that can really, really help you at your job now and the future job you're going to be applying for. Anyway, we'll be right back. We're not done yet. She has a lot more tips for us in order to land the perfect career in Canada. We'll be right back.
When are we gonna stop singing about Africa?
We're back, and today we are talking about how to land the perfect career or profession for what you have studied, especially if you're an internationally educated professional. Today, Dr. Charlotte is giving us tips on how to land that perfect job for you, especially the immigrant right here in Canada. So, Dr. Charlotte.
Yes.
So, can we have a role play on how, maybe so people can see how it's done? I can be you want to be the employer or I should be the employer? Which one do you think is better?
I could be the employee. That way I can...
Yes, okay.
Yes.
And then I can ask you, tell us about, what was it? What should be the question I ask them?
Tell us about a time when you had a stubborn team member.
Okay, so I'm the employer and I'll be interviewing you, the potential employee.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Charlotte, because we're going to use your real name even though you're not applying for the job right now.
Yes.
So, Dr. Charlotte, so tell us about that time when you encountered a difficult employee.
I have never, fortunately, encountered a troubled, a stubborn team member. But if I did, what I would do is I would probably have a sit down with this team member and have a dialogue about the things that they're doing and how that affects our job as the rest of the teams, just to kind of understand what's happening. And I would use my communication skills to ask the right questions and get to understand from the employee's perspective what they are going through that makes them behave the way they do. And I would also offer support, you know, if I could get some access to wellness support so that the employee can get help. Because in most cases, some of these, there is always a cause for some of these things. So they could be going through something difficult and they don't know how to manage it. So I would probably try and make sure that the employee gets some wellness support. And if it is something about the work environment, we would probably discuss and find a way out. So that is what I would do, because fortunately I haven't. Now, sometimes you have actually gone through it.
Okay.
So I would answer as if I have actually experienced that. One time when I was volunteering at a community event, we were grouped in teams to work on, you know, Christmas holiday gift delivery. And in my team, we were only 4. And because we were just 4 and the community was large, we decided that everyone takes a role to participate. So one of us kept having excuses and not delivering on their part. And this just meant that because one of us was not delivering, the 3 of us were now becoming overwhelmed. So I used my communication skills to sit down with this specific team member who was not delivering, to have a conversation with them and understand why they were not delivering. It turned out that they actually had a sick relative in their family. So now that we knew what they were going through, we were able to sit down, the 3 of us, and find a way to deliver and make sure that our project was successful by the end of the day. So we used our team spirit to cover up for this member who was not in. Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Charlotte, you're hired.
I'm excited.
Yes. You actually do know your onions. You actually do. So I'm really happy that you're here today giving us tips and knowledge on how to land the perfect profession, career when it comes to immigrants, especially because lots of people come into Canada and they are wondering why they haven't landed that job, because they really don't know the do's and don'ts on how to land the perfect job in Canada. We're so excited about all you've taught us today and the knowledge we've gained, and we would like to see you again. If we have questions for you after this show, how do we contact you? How can we know more if we want to better our chances of getting the job?
Okay, so currently I volunteer at Resources for Immigrants. You can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel where we post a lot of information for immigrants. If you want to reach me, that would be the best place to find me at hello@resourcesforimmigrants.ca. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can always send me a message if you need help. I'm happy to help. Yeah.
So because you can actually help with designing, creating a customized resume, cover letters for people looking for jobs. So because sometimes it's the way you draft your resume and your cover letter. It needs to be appealing to that specific employer, because not all resumes are good for every job. So it needs to be specific and customized for that particular job you're looking for. We're really happy that you came here to teach us and give us all this knowledge and tips on how to land the perfect career in Canada. Thank you so much. Is there any other tips while we still have you?
Yes, Phina. I would just like to mention that when most immigrants come to Canada, they end up in roles that they don't feel comfortable with. And that, as a result, has made so many immigrants be overqualified and underpaid. So I would just like to remind immigrants that when you come in with your 15 years of accounting experience, or, you know, if you come in as a teacher or whatever profession that you had from your original country, try and find how to go on with that profession if you want, or you can switch. Now, something I would mention is overqualification can be looked at differently, because we have perceived overqualification where you feel that you are too qualified for a specific role. And then we have the objective overqualification where when you measure the skills that are required for the job or the education level for the job, you realize that you're actually overqualified. Now, if you work at a place where you feel overqualified, you will probably lose all the motivation to be productive. So for that reason, I would always just say, if you're an accountant with 15 years, come in, network. Networking is so important. So find somebody who is doing the same job that you did, get advice from them, how they got there. So they'll tell you, oh, you need to do this license and certification, or, oh, you need this, you need that, so that you can get into what you've been doing for so long. The other thing is, talk to people about your skills. If you're making cookies in the neighborhood but nobody ever knew that you're making cookies, then there's a problem. Make those cookies, knock people's doors, let them taste your cookies. Then that's how you start to build your business.
Wow. Even me, I'm learning so much. I have learned so much today, and I hope you've learned so much too from our very own Dr. Charlotte Nga'Ang'a on all the tips and knowledge she has impacted on us today. So let's wave to the people. Send in your questions if you have any. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.
When are we gonna stop singing about Africa?